To set the stage, in insurance at Microsoft, we focus on 4 key areas to help our carriers digitally transform their business. The first is differentiated policyholder experiences, deepening relationships, again, by using AI to create those new and improved experiences. Modernizing core insurance systems, moving to the cloud to reduce cost and organizational risk. Improving risk modeling, deepening risk insights to enable better regulatory compliance. And finally, empowering employees and agents through teamwork to improve productivity and accelerate workplace modernization. In this demo, we're going to focus in on improving risk modeling. Actuarial risk modeling can be a complex topic, so I'm going to try to say a couple sentences to set the stage. Life insurance carriers use complex models to assess the risks associated with the policies that they've issued in order to determine what risks they need to hold in the event that they have to pay claims. That's really at the baseline what actuarial risk is. These complex models that they run require a tremendous amount of compute resources, which makes them very good candidates for the unlimited compute capabilities of the cloud. Before we get started, I'd like to share an example from insurance in a situation where we work together with Milliman to help transform the actuarial risk modeling in insurance at Phoenix. Phoenix is an insurance company based in the UK. Milliman, our partner in today's demo, implemented their actuarial risk platforms at Phoenix. And as a result of that implementation, Phoenix realized financial gains by reducing the amount of capital that they need to hold, therefore releasing $200 million in reserves that they can now go use to invest in the business. In addition to that, they realized savings in software, hardware, and human resources. And the project has already paid for itself 3 times over. So now let's set the stage for the demo. Our company, our not fictitious company, our company for today. It's written right there. Our company for today's demo is Adatum Insurance, based in Germany. What you're going to see is how Adatum executed Project X to achieve that same kind of efficiency that I talked about in the Phoenix example, unlocking that $200 million in capital relief. So now let me introduce you to the personas for the demo. We have Alfie, who works in regulatory and analyst affairs. We have Tenji, who's the head actuary, and we have Greta, who is our COO. So let me set the stage for the story. We're going to start off with Alfie in regulatory and analyst affairs. He's going to show us how using the Milliman solution together with the Microsoft platform, he's able to much more efficiently respond to big market events that affect the reserves that need to be held by the company. Next, we'll hear from Tenji. Tenji's the head of the actuarial department itself, the folks who do the actuarial calculations. He's going to show how using the Milliman solution together with the Microsoft platform, he can actually revolutionize, and when you see it, you'll believe it, revolutionize the way actuaries can work together to be able to improve their actuarial work. And finally, in the third scenario, we're going to meet Greta. Greta is the COO of Adatum Insurance. She's worried at macro level, increasing speed of calculation and increasing accuracy to be able to capture that $200 million back from reserves that are currently being held. So we'll get started. Off to you, Alfie.
Thank you. So I'm Alfie, the head of regulatory and analyst affairs at the Adatum Insurance Group. And before Tenji and Greta give an overview of how Microsoft's cloud and Milliman's integrated platform have revolutionized our actuarial process, I'm going to give a summary of how these same tools come together for me to respond to a market event. So my job within Adatum is to explain the results that come out of the financial models to our stakeholders outside of the company. These might be people like regulators, credit rating agencies, or market analysts. And normally that conversation takes place around our actuarial models, which are really the lifeblood of our insurance company on a quarterly basis when we do something like an earnings statement. But when the markets move more dramatically, I need to step in and explain what a market event has on our bottom line. So the sorts of market events that I'm talking about can range from small to big. On the small end, you might think of the 2016 election with a kind of impact on financial markets around the world that was fairly short-lived. But on the bigger end, you might think of the 2008 global financial crisis with a sustained period of financial instability that can have a real impact on our bottom line. And what all these events have in common is that the numbers that we put out last quarter are no longer valid. The markets have changed and we need to react and restate our earnings effectively. Now, when that happens, not only do we need to rerun the models, but I need to step in and organize a complex human workflow around the results that we're seeing. Now, thanks to the cloud, our process to run those models is much, much quicker, but I still need to do those human activities. Now, my Tiger team that runs that organizes rapid responses to these events has created a bot for me to come to, and instead of having to manually pick up the phone and make calls and schedule meetings, allow me to focus on the important activities that I need to manage when we have a market event of this sort. So you can pretend that today I'm coming into the office. On the radio, I've heard that something big has happened in the market, say something like Brexit, and exchange rates for the pound have changed by 10% in one day. This is the sort of thing that I need to react to and get out to my contacts in the market and let them know how we're going to react and what this means to our bottom line. So instead of doing what I normally do and schedule a bunch of meetings, I'm going to come into the bot and just ask it for any updates. And in just a moment, it's going to tell me what the bot itself has found. So using some monitoring of a data feed, the bot itself has detected that we have a change in the markets has breached a threshold. And here you go. So the data feed has notified me that a change in the markets has breached a threshold. There you go, it's telling me twice. And 10G, because we're collaborating, is also aware of this same event. So not only do I need to know that this has happened, but I want to know what's going on. So what do I need to know? And so, well, the bot has recommended to me that we need to rerun our models. I now want to see what's happening. So drilling a little bit deeper, the bot is telling me that we've kicked off our quarterly valuation process, and in 60 minutes we expect to have some preliminary results. The bot has also set up a Microsoft team group for us to keep tabs on any decisions that we make or any emerging news. It's also scheduled some meetings for us in 90 minutes to go over the initial results that we see. In 3 hours, we'll review those results and meet with our CEO, where we'll agree upon some short-term courses of action, probably readjusting our investment strategy to respond to this event. And longer term, we may end up changing some of our long-term investment or underwriting strategy. And then finally, the bot has populated some emails for me to send out to my contacts in the market. Now, if you fast forward a few hours later, say that I've already met with my CEO, we've reviewed the results and decided that our bottom line still looks solid, but I want to get out to the market and explain to them what this has on our financials and reassure them that we have the situation under control. So I'll jump over to my email, and you can see the set of emails have been drafted for my contacts. I'm just giving a summary of what we're seeing, recognizing that we noticed the event and that our financial position is solid. Also attached is just a PDF giving a brief summary of our financial results. Before I send this out, I have a contact. This person is a friend of mine, so I want to make sure that I put a personal touch on this note before it goes out. So at the bottom, I've invited them to get a cup of coffee, and I'm just going to, put a personal touch on this, inviting them to our favorite coffee shop, The Bean, on Thursday. Before I send, now it's ready for me to send out, and we've bolstered our position in the market. So what this did for me was a crisis occurred, and I needed to react quickly. The complex human workflow that I would have to initiate as a result of that was taken out of my hands and put in control of the bot. But any message that went out of the company was still within my control. At the end of the day, this allowed me to get in front of a market event before my competitors did and bolster our position with external stakeholders, just reinforcing our brand position. So how did we do that? I'm going to let 10G take over and show how our actuaries have found new agility with Milliman's tools.
Excellent. Thank you, Alfie. So again, I want to showcase now from an actuarial standpoint how we're revolutionizing our roles and how we're creating these efficiencies within actuarial models. And really, like you saw earlier, where we had that 97% improved accuracy, 77% decreased manual labor that we have to do. I want to show how the cloud is actually accelerating that for us so that we can bring better accuracy with speed to folks like Alfie so that he can respond better. And it really starts with what you see here on my screen. This is the Milliman Integrate tool. And what the Milliman Integrate tool is going to allow me to do is first move to the cloud. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take a French model. Now, again, I'm based in Germany, but our French team, they work on their own models as well. In the past, we were completely siloed off from one another. French team working within their models, German team working within their models. Lately, though, the French team is starting to share their files with me. What I'm going to do is instead of still maintaining those silos of work, I'm going to move this project to the cloud. That way, I can now not only have it in the cloud so we can continue to work on it, but now I can share this for real-time collaboration across the globe, but more importantly, apply governance on top. So now that this project is in the cloud, if I go to my share icon here, I can quickly just add in the teams that I want to have access into this model, into these projections. So you'll see now what I'm first doing is I'm adding in our French team, I'm adding in our German team, but I'm only giving them the ability to read these projections and these models. Now what I'll do is I'll add in a few individuals like Alfie and a couple of the other folks, but you're seeing me check this box to the right. What that is allowing me to do is give those individual users the ability to edit these projections with me. That's that level of governance, right? Now we can still maintain that ability to collaborate, but we can ensure we have the right people in it and editing at the same time. Now let's say, for instance, I wanted to change the calculations in these projection models. In the past, that would take a lot of time and it would take a lot of money. And I really only had two options. The first option was I would have to think about what calculations need to be changed. Like let's say, for instance, I have the French team's model, but I want to change a specific lapse calculation in the actual models that we have. Well, I'd have to think about that change, create an RFP, send it off to our coding vendors. They would have to do that for me. Again, I would just be waiting for that change to be made. The second option is, well, I hire a couple of developers that know how to program and code in those calculation languages, which again, takes time and takes money. But what's great here is Milliman has actually taken our projection calculations and they've actually wrapped it into a scripting language that I, as an actuary, not only understand, but I can actually change it really quickly and on the fly. And so you'll see here, I brought up our formula editor for this particular database. Now I want to go to a specific calculation model that I have. I'm just going to open up the WML. It's a somewhat complex calculation. And you'll see here again, this is a scripting language. This is one that any actuary like myself sees. We can immediately understand it. We can immediately make the changes. So for instance, I'm just going to make a very simple change. I'm just going to take out these little curly brackets. What that is just removing a comment. And what I've essentially done very quickly is I've taken that French lapse calculation I was talking about earlier, and I just immediately added it to my projections here. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and bring that window down. I'll save this change. It's now saved that database for me, and now I can go ahead and publish this for the rest to see. When I publish it, of course, I can make a quick change note here. So I'll just say French code added. That way, when we go into version history, we have the ability to see what changes have been made, who made it. In fact, we can go line by line if we needed to. But here's the best part. I'm going to go ahead and start to run these projections. Now, in the past, if I wanted to run these projections, that's just power of my machine. I just have to let it run on my machine, take a break, go do something else, let those calculations finish out, look at the accuracy, make my changes, then rerun it again. That just takes too much time, especially when we're trying to react to market events at a faster rate. Well, what's great about moving these projections, these models to the cloud, is I can go right back to it. I can go right back to my database, change the script of that calculation, and then rerun it again. So now I can make these forks on these particular projections, create better accuracy models with that. That is the new revolutionary change that we're making here by applying this cloud speed and scale. So again, you saw me quickly move to the cloud so that we can create this global collaboration across our organization. But more importantly, you saw me apply that governance on top so that we can ensure we have the right people editing at the same time. You saw how easy it is to quickly change those calculations on the fly. And then lastly, you saw me being able to run those calculations, those projections in the cloud so that I can continue to stay productive on what's important to me. That is creating new efficiencies for us here at the actuarial division. That's the micro view. Now let's expand it out a little bit further. I want to now show you guys the macro view with Greta.
Thanks, Tenji. You've seen how the agility of the cloud has empowered Alfie to actually get out to our regulatory and analyst community quickly. And you've seen how the power of the cloud has affected how Tenji is able to both collaborate with internal teams and increase his accuracy. Now I'm going to talk about, as the COO of the company, I'm on my way into the office preparing for a meeting with our CEO around Project X. Both of the agility, the collaboration, and the accuracy have allowed us to gain that $200 million in capital relief. But the next question we want to ask as a business is, what is this now allowing us to do? Tenji sent me over earlier today a quick chat with a Power BI embedded with a meeting that he conducted with his actuarial team. I'm going to hop into it now. He sent it to me in Teams, and he sent a link to the recording of the meeting. I'm going to hop in here. These meetings can last anywhere from 15 minutes to a couple of hours, and I'm not sure how long this one is. However, Stream has made it very easy for me to use my time efficiently. I'm going to go into the transcript itself and actually search for the Power BI that Tenji mentioned. This automatically generated script is allowing me to search it up, find it, and quickly orient myself to the things that I need to be prepared for the day. So you can see up here the Power BI in its current state, but I'm now in the office catching up with my chief of staff before the meeting, and I want to collaborate between the two of us on this Power BI. I'm going to move to the Surface Hub to do so. I have to wake it up. We all need to be woken up. Okay, so you can see it a lot better and bigger here and as well behind us. So in this dashboard that Tenji has prepared, on the left-hand side, you can see how the operational efficiencies that we've gained have changed from what we used to do, which was 4 months of work, and shorten us down to 3 days. This is the agility that allows Alfie to respond to those events and boost confidence with our most important stakeholders. Now, we also used to spend $250,000 on this, and we've tightened that down to $20,000. These are awesome operational gains, but as a COO, I care very deeply that we're not sacrificing accuracy to get them. So on the bottom, what we have here is the difference between what the proxy models we have running in the cloud that Tenji mentioned against our standard data models. So far, the confidence between these looks perfect. On the right-hand side, I actually care very deeply that these models aren't impacting our quarterly business results in a negative way. So far, we're exceeding benchmark, which assures me that the operational gains we're gaining are not just surface level, we're also keeping them accurate. The next most important thing for us, and really the exciting part that I'm looking forward to showing our CEO, is what we're getting to use our time on instead, how this has transformed our business effectively through Project X. On the left-hand side, what you'll notice is we used to spend our time here in the gray in reworking these models and analysis preparation time. This is run-of-the-business stuff that was necessary, but not necessarily driving us forward. As a result of Project X, we're able to actually move our time over into creative work. This is the work that allows us to develop and verify new products, which is great, growing our business. It's also allowing us to develop new models and test them out. And we've actually started to grow out the collaboration, as you saw with Tenji. So not only are we collaborating better, reducing model duplication across countries, but we're also growing the business as a result of Project X. It's not just about the $200 million in capital relief. It's about what we're able to do as a business as a result of this improved speed, scale, and agility. I want to congratulate Tenji on this amazing work and the team before we go into this meeting. And I also want to ask him if there's anything else in this graph that I should know before I head in, since he sent this to me yesterday. I'm going to grab a quick screenshot of this, and the whiteboard is going to allow us to collaborate in context. What you're seeing is just a quick picture. I'm going to make it a little bigger so that we can work together. I'm going to pen him a quick note. Tenji, awesome. Like, just truly great work. Any other info here? Again, the important piece of this is that it's in context. We don't have to go back and forth on chat clarifying what I'm asking for. I'm asking if there's anything else here. I'm going to add him to this whiteboard, send it off to him, and we're on our way. He'll come back to me shortly. The improved speed and scale of the cloud has allowed us to both gain the capital relief that we needed as a business that we set out for, but also so much more in terms of the agility, speed, and collaboration. It's allowing us to grow our business. I'm going to hand it back to Dennis to close us out for the rest of the day.
Great, thank you very much, Greta. Let's give these guys some recognition for a great demo. Before we open it up for conversation, let's quickly drill in and revisit the story a little bit and reveal the technology used to deliver this amazing experience. First, Alfie leveraged the power platform. First, jumps.
Okay, bro. There you go.
First, Alfie leveraged the Power Platform, including Dynamics 365 CRM, Microsoft Flow, the D365 Virtual Agent, Common Data Services, and Cognitive Services. 10G used Milliman's Integrate tool on Azure and the modern data estate with AI and ML to revolutionize actuarial science. And finally, Greta used Microsoft 365 Modern Workplace Solutions on mobile and Surface Hub to gain insights into how Project X improved risk modeling forecast accuracy, leading to that $200 million in capital relief. So let's discuss next steps. And I'm not going to do the next steps because we did that in the last one. I'm going to say let's open up the floor for discussion.